Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the Bizcuits podcast. And today I am joined by two wonderful people, actually. And surprisingly, today I am not the only person from Bizcuits. I am joined by none other than Debbie Coleiro over here.
Hey.
Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you.
And on my right side, I have Matthew joining us from BridgerPay. What's up, guys? Thank you very much for joining us, Matthew. And the main goal for this episode today, guys, is to tackle any questions that might revolve around payment suppliers, compliance specifically, even trying to take note of certain things that might raise certain question mark, let's say, in the process of this. But without further ado, let's have a bit of an introduction from our people joining us here. And I know that they say ladies comes first, but I'm going to change that today.
Yeah, sure, feel free to.
Equality a little bit. So, Matthew,
Cool,
tell us a
yeah.
little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I think first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Absolutely.
I handle the PSP partnerships here at BridgerPay, basically leading the PSP partnership team at BridgerPay.
Okay.
What that means is, as you know, BridgerPay is a payment orchestration platform. We're always connecting and adding new payment providers, payment processors, gateways, whatever, into our platform. So with those payment providers, we always want to, collaborate with them in any way that we can. And that's exactly what I try to do. I'm responsible for the partnerships, for maximizing, whatever collaborative sort of stuff we can come out with, basically.
All right. Awesome. And what about you, Debbie, from the side
Okay.
of Bizcuits and compliance and
Yeah, so Bizcuits is the operations company for other clients like brokers, prop firms, whatever.
Mhm.
So we then connect these clients to different payment providers, multiple, depending on which region they want to target.
Okay.
So we get that currency. Obviously, we make sure the payments are being processed correctly. And then we have the compliance side as well, but I guess I'll stick to payments. Then we can have a compliance session,
Yes,
compliance
yes.
podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
I could also dive into a little bit about BridgerPay and give a little introduction on BridgerPay
Of course,
as
of
well.
course. Yes,
So-
100%.
Yeah, BridgerPay is a payment orchestration platform or payment operations platform. I will actually say that I think like the orchestration or the operations platform terminology is becoming, let's say, not exactly clear these days in the payment space.
Okay.
I think everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of the trend of those, terminologies being used.
Mhm.
But essentially, a true orchestration platform, as we are, means that we are a technology platform. So we do the hard part of integrating to PSPs, payment service providers, payment gateways, acquirers, APMs, anything basically on the payment terms around the whole world. And then merchants can access all of that via one integration to the BridgerPay platform. Not only are they able to access the, pre-installed integrations that we already have, but we also give them like the platform to manage it from. So they can completely manage everything, their entire payment stack, just from our platform. So it's like a one-stop shop in terms of the payment side of things.
Okay.
Of course, we've got lots of features in that. It's like one central place for all of your transactional data, so you can review everything from one central place rather than the back office of every single PSP individually.
Mhm.
And then we've also got some other features such as the bridge of retry that we'll dive into in a little bit. We've also got pay with. It's a type of checkout that allows you to split the payment methods basically that you can use at the end of the checkout. So yeah, just a little intro there.
Nice.
Pure orchestration platform is a technology platform basically, and that's exactly what we do.
Amazing. No, I really like what you were highlighting, and it sounds like you guys are offering like a neatly wrapped package, ready to go, for the customers.
And one of the key features there as well is that merchants still have like full control over their payments. So
Okay.
when I'm stressing that we're technology, it means that we're not a financial institution. So we're completely left out of the money flow. We're not touching funds at all. We're not custodial.
Mhm.
So that means that merchants still have that direct relationship with the payment providers that they're connecting with.
Okay.
So yeah, they still sort of, drive the car basically. We just give them the
Exactly.
keys.
Yeah, you help eliminate the integration by
Yep.
the merchants
Yes, exactly.
and to consolidate everything in one dashboard. basically.
Exactly, yeah. Alleviating the technical
Mhm.
resources required to connect to new PSPs. And then, just centralizing it all into one place to manage it all from. So, as you quite rightly said, wrapping it all up, but you as the merchant still has full control.
Okay.
And that's the true essence of what we want to maintain and continue doing.
Nice. By the way, like one quick question: how did the partnership between both BridgerPay and Bizcuits come to be?
Tristan, our CEO, introduced us to BridgerPay, so we started communicating, me and Matthew.
Okay.
And then we onboarded with them, and they helped us connect to different PSPs. So they also assist with connecting you to the PSP.
Okay.
So we're talking about what our clients need, with jurisdictions they're targeting, and they were reaching out to us with these different options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Now that we kind of have solidified, let's say, what both Bizcuits, from a compliance and payment side it focuses on, and then BridgerPay as well on what it offers, let's talk about a little bit about the challenges that have happened in the journey, let's say. And I wanted to start with you, Matthew, specifically of the growing pains or pain points, let's say, that BridgerPay has faced and overcome. And specifically the word that you were using at the beginning when you started looking into a payment orchestration.
Yeah, cool. So the original idea came from our co-founders, Yaron and Ran. They had another company and they were trying to, basically it was trading education that they were selling. And they wanted to do that in lots of countries around the whole world. They needed to have different languages on their checkout and, sell to all these different countries. And they understood exactly how complicated it was and how difficult it was, even though it's a really simple product that they wanted to sell, just to be able to put it online and sell it to all the regions that they wanted to do it in was challenging. And that's like sort of where the idea came from, basically. So that was like in 2009. Over the years, the industry has changed massively. COVID was actually a huge contribution to this change. The reason being is it really pushed people or companies to start processing online. So it actually, I think because we were founded just before, we were there just at that right time, basically, when everything started to go online. So it was a lot more apparent how complicated it is to start selling online. So that was where the idea had come from. You'd also mentioned sort of the pain points that we've experienced along the way. Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of them. I guess from my side, my experience in it is that over the years we had integrated PSPs due to the demand of merchants. A lot of those PSPs ended up being high-risk PSPs, so the integration that we did no longer is valid. So I would say one of the hurdles there is sort of dedicating our resources in the right way.
Okay.
We were previously doing it off merchant demand, and this was in the earlier days that we needed to have more PSP connections, so we didn't have, let's say, a flow where the merchant would request it. We would just do it, basically, out of good faith. And we ended up, delegating a lot of resources towards that. And then a lot of those PSPs did not necessarily last. So one of the hurdles, I think, was to sort of establish those partnerships with tier 1 PSPs, with the right sort of PSPs in the industry, maintaining those integrations as well. Because when you're connected to 1,000 different PSPs, trying to maintain all of those integrations can be very challenging. Trying to navigate, our roadmap or the integration pipeline that we have can be tricky because, of course, we always still have new demands for new PSPs. That's an ever-growing list. So, I think from my side, that would be one of the challenges that we've faced. But I would say the biggest challenge is actually just trying to educate people on the platform.
The onboarding process.
Not even that, just to put out what an orchestration platform is. People don't necessarily, understand it straight away, and you can't just sum it up in one word. You have to give a whole example of what the platform does and how it covers all of these things. And I guess that's just the gap of as technology excels, we have to sort of study to keep with the change of the times. So
true.
I think I'd say that would be one of the hurdles that we faced originally, and that now is sort of dissipating. But as I previously mentioned as well, I think a lot of providers are jumping on the terminology of orchestration and operations platform. So now it's becoming a little bit mixed where, we will say we're an orchestration platform, And then, a merchant might think, oh, I've heard of orchestration. That's like orchestrating between different acquirers. But actually, there's a lot more to it. So I think we've got to be a little bit proactive in the way that we continuously put our content out there and, explain exactly what we do.
Nice.
From the merchant's point of view, I'd say the biggest pain point would be the integration, different payments providers. So we have our developers integrating these different PSPs, but it takes quite a lot of time. It can take up to 2 weeks. So by using someone like BridgerPay, we're able to connect instantly after onboarding, obviously.
Nice.
So we onboard onto the PSP, company documents, whatever, this kind of stuff. And then BridgerPay simply enables the payment method for us.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really
Okay.
like that.
So that's what I'm basically like connecting what you were explaining before of that the package being offered. So
Exactly.
Bizcuits was making use of that. Correct me if I'm wrong. To then offer options for the clients in terms of payments. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing that was really helpful, that really is helpful, is that everything is in one dashboard. So our agents, for example, in our department, don't have to open each PSP's dashboard to look at a specific transaction. They can do it within one dashboard, and then if they need further information, they can go to the payment provider's dashboard. Yes, but yeah, it's very easy to have.
Place. I can imagine actually for you guys, as you have a multi-brand environment, that aspect of it can be really helpful, right?
For sure. And then from the back end, obviously, like I handle the setups, the routing, and all of these things. It's been so helpful and easy to use. No coding involved, nothing. So you just select the countries you're interested in targeting and connect different payment methods to them. And different currencies, whatever you want. So it's been really good using BridgerPay.
Amazing. So from the sounds of it, it's just facilitating, basically, just making the process as smooth as possible. Exactly. Now that we have highlighted this, let's say this business, when it comes to trading, prop firms, brokers, and such, it's labeled as high risk, of course.
Yeah.
And now taking that into consideration, when it comes on the side of BridgerPay, let's say, what common challenges come from involving yourself with these companies?
Cool. Yeah. Great question. I love it. And I think BridgerPay solves this really well.
Nice.
So, one of the biggest challenges, I think, is that when, as you said, it's in the high risk space. So when you're trying to find a PSP, it could be really difficult to find a tier 1 PSP that can help you process your payments. It tends to be, a tier 2, worst case, a tier 3 PSP. And
part of my ignorance, but what are the tiers?
Cool, yeah. So like a tier 1 PSP would be one that you would know, like PayPal, for example.
Oh, okay, like super established.
Super established, very regulated. Yeah, been around for a long time. A tier 2 would be perhaps less regulated, not as known. And then a tier 3 could be, it gets a little bit tricky or complicated, I guess, but it could be like a miscoded, type of shady PSP.
Okay.
But unfortunately, given the space that we're talking about with the prop trading and the Forex side of things, a lot of them, will have licenses, but a lot of them will open up brands without, licenses, right? So the less regulated those industries are, the less a PSP is actually allowed legally to work with them. So that's why they sort of have to default to these higher risk PSPs. With that, there comes a lot of declined transactions, for example, because they're not connected to as many banks. They don't have as many, connections in the background to be able to process the payment. So essentially it means that, out of 100% of the transactions that your end users are doing on your platform, maybe 50% of them will actually go through and be approved. So, essentially you could potentially be missing out on those 50% of those transactions that decline due to like the technical issues or just to the fact that there's not enough banks in the background of this PSP that you're using. So that's when like BridgerPay, is quite smartly created a system where we can cascade those transactions to a backup PSP. So even though there could be more logistical stuff in terms of onboarding, of course, BridgerPay has already the integrations in place. And I think integrations can technically take longer than the onboarding as long as you're prepared. So essentially, you could onboard with multiple PSPs, add them to your payment route, have as many backups as you want. So when you are working with that type of PSP that might not be 100% approval ratio and giving you the best sort of results, but you still want to continue working with them, you can give yourself the ability to have backups.
Okay.
And then we call this feature Bridger Retry. So it's a cascading feature. It brings a lot of value to our merchants. And essentially in the same payment session, so the end user is not really aware that there is a cascade taking place. Because I think that's quite important. Yeah, it's seamless, exactly. Because, you know, if an end user sees that like the transaction has declined and then all of a sudden it happens again and they're asking for the authentication again, I don't know, they might question it, they might get cold feet. You want as less, you know, barriers of friction as possible. You want to make it as, you know, proficient and as seamless, if you like, for the end users. So yeah, coming back to the Bridger Retry, we give merchants the ability to have backup PSPs. And this basically, we see, like, especially in the prop and forex space, it working one of the best, actually, where we're able to rescue up to like 20% of the monthly turnover.
Wow.
Yeah, from this feature, basically. In fact, I would say, because it works for all industries, and even in like the lowest risk industries, you can see that a decline can happen, and that can be, you know, not a hard decline where there's payment, there's money in your card to make the payment, or the details are wrong. It would be like all the details and there's money in the card and it's all there. It's just, again, from the issuer, from the background side of things, the technology, or you know, there could be a problem with the internet connection, for example.
Yeah.
So we even see this happening in the low risk space. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's around 95% of our clients pay us a subscription fee that's less than the Bridger value that we're able to generate for them. So you can imagine that a merchant is processing like even 100K or $1 million, you know, per month, and we're able to rescue anywhere from like 5 to 20% of that amount. It's a hell of a lot that it could build up to on a monthly basis.
Absolutely.
And very happy to say that we don't have many merchants that actually pay us a subscription fee that's more than what we're actually able to rescue them. So yeah, in summary, I think the biggest pain points for these prop and forex merchants is actually having a good PSP, is being able to catch those decline transactions, and ultimately, you know, don't have all your eggs in one basket. And I think BridgerPay completely solves that and gives you the ability to stretch it across as many baskets as you want. PSPs. Exactly, and we're basically rescuing your money in the meantime while we're doing it. So it's a no-brainer, basically. It's worth trying either way.
No, I'm really liking the explanation that you made, and it made me connect, let's say, with something that it's always been very important for us at Bizcuits, which is transparency. Of course, like our clients are fully aware of how our services works, fully regulated and such. But going with what you were mentioning, and after you clarified the tiers and such for both of you, actually, I'll start with you, Debbie, coming from compliance. To identify these, you could call them red flags or things that might not look as, I don't want to say professional, but what we are looking for, let's say. So in terms of transparency and identifying these things, how does compliance and payments as well, of course, tackle it in general?
Well, for sure, we do our own research when looking to be onboarded with different PSPs. But the good thing about working with BridgerPay is that they connect you to good PSPs. They know what.
So it's filtered basically already.
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, we still look into them. We still do a background check on them.
No, regardless of that, I'm happy to now understand, let's say, how the process works involving BridgerPay, and to make it more seamless, as you mentioned before, because at the end of the day, we want to offer the best options that kind of meet our clients halfway.
What we look for is obviously the jurisdiction, the currencies that are being offered, and the fees that we will be paying and the client will also be paying. So that's a very important factor we take into consideration. when looking for PSPs.
Okay, so now the moving a bit to the next question, since you're already talking about how BridgerPay has helped this and to make the process smoother. Any example maybe that you could give of a case? No need to be super specific, but how it managed to resolve, let's say, a bottleneck that was happening to scale it more efficiently thanks to BridgerPay.
So in the past, we only connected with a few PSPs.
Okay.
We never got into fiat much before BridgerPay. But we had a few PSPs, and we only used to use one PSP per region, like for Thailand, for example, one PSP for Thailand. And, PSPs they have their own maintenance and things like that. But being connected to multiple different PSPs, you're able to manage their availability.
Oh,
So
okay.
if one of them is down for whatever reason, you still have multiple others that the client can make use of.
As you were mentioning, like a backup for the customers.
That's the Bridger retry for the credit card.
Yeah.
But I'm also referring to APMs.
Oh, okay.
PayPal for Europe, for example, or Skrill for.
If PSP allows it, for example, you can go ahead, get onboarded with them.
Okay.
And not actually use the connection if they don't have any monthly minimum requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just turn that connection on whenever, you deem it appropriate, whenever the request comes from your merchant. So, you guys could be proactive on behalf of your merchants if they allow you to. Have all of these, methods in the key regions that we know, are key regions for these industries, for example. And then only really turn it on when the demand comes from, when the demand's there from the merchant.
Okay. And from your side, Matt, are these kind of results, let's say, as it has happened from Bizcuits' side, typical, let's say, across when it comes to high volume platforms that you work in?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, I guess you guys were a little bit different because you started with crypto first. We actually see it vice versa. Merchants starting with fiat first or coming to us with, wanting to do fiat first, basically. So that was curious for us. That was interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure if there was anything else you added to that.
No. That was pretty much it, honestly. But yeah, it was mostly about the high volume platforms.
Yeah, cool. I think as well to add to that. So, from our perspective, let's say, Debbie or the Bizcuits team would come to us and say, right, we need a new PSP connection for Southeast Asia. These are the specific APMs that we've been requested for.
Okay.
So what we do, we know how to cross-reference with all of our PSPs and go, right, these are the ones that can work with these types of industries. Which out of those have these methods available? We then, know who to approach. We approach them on behalf of Bizcuits or the merchants, basically.
Yeah.
We'll send a profile, a summary of the merchant to the PSPs to give us a soft pre-approval to let us know that they can work with them, so we're not wasting anyone's time. And then once they give us the go-ahead, we just make the introduction directly, basically. So the Bizcuits teams, the merchants, involved can have that call with the PSP straight away to understand if it's worthwhile. And then we leave it, to you guys, basically. Again, we just give you the keys, you guys drive it. So, and that's what I meant about the
what I like is that you also take into consideration the merchant's request, and we're representing the merchant.
Yeah.
So we come to you and we say, we would not like any minimum volume commitment.
Yes, yeah.
Because we have a small brand.
Exactly.
So we cannot guarantee that sort of volume. And you respect that and look for a PSP that doesn't require it. So we're only paying per transaction.
Yeah.
Which for our merchant is very, very important.
And again, I think if a merchant was to go and do that by themselves, it's more than possible. It's just it'll be so time consuming. They would have to reach out to so many different PSPs to be able to get to the bottom of that and have so many calls that it would take a really long time.
Yeah,
basically.
like this we can focus on the routing of different PSPs in different jurisdictions. We can focus on other things rather than
the
hassle of onboard
optimization.
Exactly.
Give that data. You guys can
Integration.
spend your time, reviewing it and actually optimize where it's necessary rather than wasting your time on other things that you don't need to do anymore, basically, in this tech-centric world that we're living in.
Yeah. No. Honestly, I'm really liking the specifically when you guys were mentioning like optimizing, because again, when it comes to the usage of resources and
Yes.
such,
I mean,
time
data's
is
king.
extremely valuable. And what you mentioned of having to filter yourself manually through all of these options that there, it's definitely going to be more of a hassle than anything. But now let's look into the future.
Mhm.
You know, let's see what awaits us. Let's see in the upcoming months or years even. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with you, Debbie. And how would you say the payment infrastructure is going to be evolving to better support brokers and prop firms over the next few years? So how do you think it's that going
I'd
to?
like to see more automation, and using AI, for example.
Mhm.
So let's say there are multiple declines, multiple transactions being declined. Maybe the software can automatically identify this and advise you of what you should do automatically. Like, hey, we should disable this PSP and enable this one.
Mhm.
I think that would be very useful for
For both brokers and
merchants. Yeah,
okay. No, because it's all about, once again, of accessibility, but from the side of payments and compliance, and it makes more sense in a way that in the future you get I don't want to say a notification, but a way that you inform, like, listen, this PSP might not be the way to go.
exactly.
Okay.
It's
And
funny, we actually have something similar at the moment. I mean, I don't know if I could say too much about it. It's more internal use. We call it the Bridger Guard, where it is like an AI bot, if you like, that is monitoring all of the payment processing within our entire platform. And of course, we could like
That's good to know.
cater it to per industry. So whenever we see something, or whenever the bot sees something like, not how it should be,
Exactly.
it will send a notification, notify our team. We can look into it. We've actually caught issues already where like the decline ratio is going down on something that it shouldn't have.
okay.
And yeah, able to be proactive in that type of scenario, because we caught it like straight from the beginning before it's noticed in the money, with the actual amount that's being processed, basically. So yeah, I think we're already getting there, slowly, but definitely on the way. I think the payments industry, though, in general, for the future, I mean, right now it's so innovative. There's
Absolutely, yes.
something coming out,
Something new.
from
It's
every
always.
corner. Yeah, exactly. Something new all the time, basically. So, I don't know how much it would apply right now. I think so. I don't know if you guys are familiar with network tokenization. So we've got a type of payment method called open banking, and what that means is, like, across Europe and UK, all of the banking rails speak to each other. So they could identify a user, no matter the country that they're in. That basically means that they could like approve an instant payment. So for example, I'm using Bank of Cyprus. However, my Bank of Cyprus can verify to, I don't know, Santander in the UK that I'm an actual person. And they do that through this closed open banking loop. Network tokenization is a similar thing, but for card transactions, and I think it's more applicable right now for recurring or subscription payments. So I guess more in the prop space. What it does is it like tokenizes the card information, basically, verifies it with the card scheme. So if that card expires or anything like that, the subscription or the recurring payment can still happen, because once again, we know that card will be renewed. Let's say we know, or the card schemes have identified the individual who it is, basically. So I think that's something up and coming that we're seeing right now, that I believe could very much make a difference for the subscription and the recurring side of things in the prop space. Don't know about the forex space so much, but I think predominantly the prop space, which I guess might be more where it's heading. I don't know if forex is going to last forever and be the presence that it is at the moment. I think prop is up and coming, and people want to learn and be educated more.
Yeah. Mostly as well because of how accessible props are, in the sense that to start trading, you don't need to risk, quote unquote, that as much of an investment as compared to.
And I think as time goes by, everything becomes more not hidden. What's the word?
Yes. Transparent.
Transparent. There you go. You said it a few times. It's your favorite word.
Yeah, I'm going invisible here.
Walked you into it. So yeah. And I think it's becoming more transparent.
Yeah.
The network tokenization is a way that we're seeing that, and a real life implication as to how it can benefit subscription or recurring payments. Open banking has been around for a long time, and it's the same sort of thing. So I think we're going to be seeing more of that with APMs that, are being released maybe, more across these card schemes and banks speaking to each other and
Nice.
verifying you.
Guys, honestly, you have knocked it out of the park. It has been a quite an informative session, honestly, but we're not done yet. Hold your horses. There's the last couple of things to ask. I'm gonna start with you, Debbie, and for the people that are listening to us, what advice, let's say, would you give to brokers or fintechs that are basically managing payments manually or juggling between PSPs?
So for a startup, I'd say to think before being onboarded to different PSPs. So have a list of jurisdictions you want to target.
Okay, like a demographic, or what would you? Okay.
And ideally use a partner like BridgerPay to be able to connect to these different payment systems all in one place.
Okay.
Yeah. And even for who's already into it, I mean, our merchants were already operating before we got connected to BridgerPay, but they were operating in crypto. So for them, it was still a new thing, fiat. Yeah, this would be my advice.
Okay. No, very, very, very solid. And I like the fact that you still talked about, even if you are established fintech or platform already.
And the thing is, even if the merchant is connected to a PSP already without BridgerPay, or they're most likely already integrated to BridgerPay as well. So you can connect the two either way. If you're first connected to the
because we have so many PSP connections to the platform that most likely you can take your commits, your processing details, let's say, and just connect it to our platform, and there won't really be too much of an integration to take place. It'll be quite straightforward. To be honest with you, so quite quick to just turn on, try it, at least test it. Yeah, I think I would say as well, like to add to that, is to understand what you want. So being established or not established.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some merchants may not want to actually worry themselves with dealing directly with onboarding with PSPs and the pricing and care so much about that. That would be more of like the cashier aggregator approach, where the cashier and aggregator is a financial institution, is touching the funds, and is sort of wrapping it up entirely for the merchants. And merchants aren't really involved in what's happening on the PSP side of things. I would say that's more expensive, more costly, but of course it's easier. You don't, you just, as the merchant, you just give all your onboarding documents to the cashier or the aggregator, and then that's it. And then, your payments are processed. But of course, that being said, it will be a lot more expensive. So I think on the other side of things is to still have that control. So I think you must understand what you want as a merchant, whether, you're established or not. Because in some cases it might be beneficial to actually just pay a little bit extra and have everything done for you. Yeah. But in other aspects, 1% or 0.5% can make a huge difference, and it's worth actually, employing a few people to manage that and to have full control, basically. So I think, that's important to keep an eye out. I would definitely stress on that and advise to understand where you want to come from, basically, on that side of things.
No, honestly, you knocked it out of the park. Part 2, because that's pretty much what's going to be my question to you before we finished, because what I wanted to hear, it's basically for companies when it comes to choosing a payment orchestration partner. But you have really paint the picture clearly for everyone. But with that being said, guys, absolutely lovely and super thankful for having
Thanks
you.
a lot. Really
here.
Appreciate it.
Before we close it up, anything you would like to say or how to reach out to you, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows how to reach out to us. I think it's online, LinkedIn, expos. So definitely, I think reach out to Bizcuits to tell them to come to us as well. We can do that as well.
I think BridgerPay and Bizcuits together is a really good combination.
It's a good combo, yeah.
I think it's a great combo. Yeah, you guys
Like-
handle the operational side of things. We handle the
Precisely.
payment side of things.
Full
It's a perfect
operations.
combination.
That is the full package,
It's
pretty
the
much.
best example of how technology is actually automating these aspects for companies.
Precisely.
Basically. So yeah, we're in the early days of it, and it's
Like
exciting.
first, the merchants don't even have, like the owners don't even have to do anything.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly. It's-
All right.
It's great.
It's exciting.
No, definitely the future is looking very bright and very exciting, guys. But once again, thank you so much, Debbie and Matthew, for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you too.
We will definitely in the future be having other sessions, so who knows?
Looking forward
Maybe we'll have another one talking about other
I have a
subjects.
lot more to share with you guys.
But thank you so much also for you guys listening and viewing the podcast. There's more to come. And once again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Cheers. Thanks.
See ya.